Hello, I'm Too Lazy for Name, and welcome to my Polearm Grappling Guide. In this guide, I'll be showing you the basic techniques for grappling with polearms. A disclaimer before we begin, in all of the clips showcasing the techniques in the arena, I will be using a male character with max height, max fat, and max muscle. I believe the added height and weight gives you an advantage in grappling, so the effectiveness of these techniques may vary depending on your character's physique. The first technique we'll cover is the left sweep. This technique works by getting your polearm behind your opponent, or at least off to the right of your opponent, and then sweeping your polearm to the left using either mouse movement or the beginning animation of a left to right swing. The most common setup for this technique is to throw a left to right strike, which will normally close distance, stun your opponent, and put your polearm off to the right of them all in one go. In this situation, and ideally in all situations where you use this technique, you want to crouch for a slight moment before attempting the sweep so that you have more momentum as well as an upward curve to pick your opponent up. The mouse movement variant has greater range, but using the beginning of a left to right swing is more consistent provided you're in the right position. The next technique is the overhead sweep. It can be set up and used in the exact same manner as the left sweep, except you're substituting the left to right swing with an overhead swing. Unlike the left sweep, the overhead sweep can also be used in any situation where you can hook under a part of your opponent. This gives a versatility that the left sweep lacks, but when compared to the left sweep in the circumstances where either one could be used, it is less consistent, but results in more powerful throws and smooth follow-up attacks. The next technique has many different variations that all stem from the same principle. You are doing what I call wrestling from the bind, with the bind being a situation in which you have thrown a strike and the strike becomes stuck on your opponent. From this position, you keep your strike held down so that you keep trying to finish the swing arc, which allows you to maintain contact with your opponent and then use leverage to wrestle them to the ground. This can be done with any strike, but to illustrate the concept, we'll use a left to right swing. If you throw a left to right swing that gets caught on your opponent, you will keep your strike held down to apply rightward pressure as you attempt to finish the swing arc, and then you will jerk your mouse to the right while moving into the swing. If successful, you will knock your opponent to the ground. If you're using a polearm with any sort of hooking implement, like a pole hammer or a halberd, you can also use a crouch to hook your opponent and drag them to the ground. Again, the same rough principle applies when using other kinds of strikes. The second to last technique we will look at is the stab lift or stab throw. As the name implies, you're using a stab in order to set up a lift or a throw. This technique is easily the least consistent one of the bunch, but it allows you to pull off some truly ridiculous throws. While all you actually need to do to pull this off is aim low with a stab and then transition to an overhead to lift your opponent up, the optimal technique requires some precise timing. There's a few ways to actually perform the throw itself, but the optimal setup is to stab low, and then right before you transition to an overhead, you crouch for a split second and then perform the overhead. If you crouch during the stab, it will throw off your balance and it can result in you tripping forward. If set up properly, you can sweep your opponent's legs with sideways momentum, or you can go straight up and throw them, with the best throws coming if you get it right between their legs. The final technique is one of the few techniques I'm going to mention that mainly comes up as an improvised technique. There's no real proper setup for me to showcase, but if you manage to get your polearm behind your opponent's head, with his head in between both of your arms, you can crouch and yank to one of the sides or pull backwards to throw them to the ground. When attempting grapples, you'll occasionally end up in this position on accident, so I thought I'd throw it in. That covers all the things that I can boil down into simple moves for you to follow. There's a lot more to polearm grappling than what I covered in this video, but it's mainly things that can be easily converted into a tutorial format. If you have any questions about something that wasn't clear, or if you just want some advice on a specific grappling concern, feel free to leave a comment or hit me up in the Exanima Discord channel. Speaking of which, big thanks to everyone who signed the change.org petition I made to get me unbanned from the Exanima Discord. We got over 100 signatures, and because of that, I was unbanned. I'd like to specifically shout out the boys over at the North American Players Club and the fine gentlemen of the Renown Discord, as well as Mr. Merks on the Exanima Discord. In the description will be various links to the Discords mentioned, as well as my other Exanima content and some other Exanima content creators that I think are worth your time. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.